Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, Nevada marches into a hostile environment in Tallahassee against number 10 Florida State. We'll break down what happened against the Seminoles. And big changes this offseason at Mackey Stadium, specifically Cashel Fieldhouse. We'll take you inside the den of the pack. That and much more now on Wolfpack All Access, brought to you by Champion Chevrolet.
Welcome to Wolfpack All Access, brought to you by Champion Chevrolet. Head coach Brian Polian joining me here in the weight room here at Nevada. Some new stuff up here in the weight room. We're going to show you that a little bit later in the broadcast. Coach, back from Florida State, just your initial thoughts. Now you've been able to look at some film and let this one sink in a little bit.
Well, it's a little bit like the UCLA game in the sense that I felt like against what is a top 10 national opponent for a half, we stood there toe-to-toe. And really, I give a lot of credit to Devin Combs. I thought he competed his tail off. And really, when you look back on it, we drop a touchdown pass there in the second quarter. It could have been 14-17 at the half. Now, coulda, woulda, shoulda. We need to make the play, but and then just incredibly disappointed in the way that we came out in the second half. And you know, I didn't feel like this time it was really a lack of effort. I thought it was just some really boneheaded mistakes that led to two quick scores by them. And then when Devin went down with the injury, it became difficult for us on offense to create some first downs because Florida State knew. I mean, they knew our third quarterback was in there, so they put eight and a half guys in the box and made it darn near impossible to run the ball. And by the end of the game, I think our defense was just flat worn out. We couldn't keep them off the field. They were out there too long. So, but like in any situation, you know, we're going to look at the game film. We're going to find positives that we can build off of. And I've watched it already. I watched it last night on the plane, and there are some positive things that we can build off of, and clearly a bunch of things that we can teach from. And now, moving forward, we head to conference play, and in my mind, we're 0-0.
All right, let's show you the highlights. Nevada, Florida State.
Over 60,000 on hand at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Nevada, playing without starting quarterback Cody Fajardo, top two running backs Kendall Brock, Don Jackson also both out. Florida State would get on the board first with a field goal here, makes it 3-0 Seminoles early on. Nevada would get the ball back in the second, lines up for a field goal, but it's a fake. Chase Tenpenny running up the middle. It doesn't work. Florida State takes over on downs. Jameis Winston then throwing deep down the middle. Bryson Keaton picks this one off, and he's got ideas. He'll bring it back inside the 30, down to almost the 25, and Nevada is in business. Pack would cash in, and it wouldn't take long. Devin Combs, near side lots. Brandon Wimberly, senior, comes down with it, and Nevada has a 7-3 lead over Florida State. But the Pack defense came to play as well. Great pass rush here. Lenny Jones, he'll come up with the sack of Jameis Winston, and the Pack defense coming up big with a stop. About 3.5 minutes to go in the half. Seminoles moving the ball. Jameis Winston throwing deep, this time for Kenny Shaw. Beats the defense. Florida State back on top, 10-7. Nevada would go 3 and out, and the Seminoles would capitalize. Less than a minute to go before half. Jameis Winston to Rashad Green. Nevada down 17-7 at the break in this one, but it would go downhill in the second half with Devin Combs unable to play because of knee and ankle injuries. Florida State wins this one with a big second half, 62-7.
So tough pill to swallow either way. You could just tell by the end of this one, Florida State really smelled blood in the water and really kind of got after you guys. This is a deep team. This is a really fantastic football team. But by the end of the year, I think this is a team that might be a BCS contender. These guys are going to go to a BCS bowl. That would not surprise me.
No, not at all. In fact, 2 of our first 3 opponents could end up in BCS games. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, if football fans really want to know the difference between a mid-major and a top 10 team in the country, you only have to look to the second half, because for 30 minutes we could physically hold up and keep up, and then when the depth starts to show itself, they're 2 and 3 deep with big physical guys that can run. Our frontline players, Joel Bitonio, Wimberly, Brock Hecking, those guys look like Florida State's guys. The problem is when the 2s and 3s come out, or in the kicking game, we look completely different. And that's the nature of mid-major college football. They're different in every sense. They're different personnel-wise. They're different in the type of resources they have. They're different in their facilities. So do we want to do a better job competing? Absolutely. But is there a difference between these 2 programs? There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. I saw the same sort of thing at UCLA. I saw it a few years ago when Nevada went and played Nebraska. The fact that there were 3 and 4 guys, even 4 deep when Nevada played Nebraska, and that was kind of the difference in that one. When did you know, though, that Cody wasn't going to be able to go?
Oh, we had a pretty good idea by the middle of the week. I just, it's not my job to keep everybody informed. I mean, our opponent I wanted our opponent planning for Cody to play. But, we made the decision by about midweek that if he couldn't protect himself, we weren't going to put him out there. And let's be honest, we have 9 games to go, 8 of which are in conference. Yeah. So we're not going to be judged by what happened at Florida State. People are going to look back on this 2013 team and they're going to judge us by what we did in the conference. So if there was any doubt, I wasn't going to put them at risk in this ball game. Right. We're not competing for the ACC, we're competing for the Mountain West. Mm-hmm. So, we just decided to err on the side of caution.
Don Jackson can't travel with you. He's got the ankle. Kendall Brock, he's played his tail off. He's banged up, so you go with Chris Solomon. And we saw some great flashes out of Chris.
Yeah, I thought Chris was the highlight of the game for us, for a guy that was 5th on the depth chart in training camp to grind out 100 yards against that Florida State defense. He averaged 4.2 a carry. His yards did not come in garbage time. I mean, he grinded it out against their first defense. And really, his performance in the Davis game earned him the right to get more practice reps. It didn't earn him the right to start the game, but he practiced so well. And really, I think Chris has taken the next step here in terms of understanding how you need to practice and prepare like a Division I back. Did he make mistakes? Sure he did, but he picked up the blitz pretty well, I thought, and I know he ran his tail off. So that was really, really encouraging to see.
Devin Combs came out. I thought you guys handled the clock very, very well and managed this game very well early on and into the second quarter. And then he gets banged up a little bit. So you're going in at halftime at Florida State and you're down 10. And you had the opportunity to be even closer. What do you tell you guys at halftime?
Well, first of all, we didn't know Devin was banged up. We knew he had taken a shot on the knee, but we thought he was going to be able to go in the second half. And I was very proud of the way our offense played in the first half. We controlled the clock, which is what we wanted to do. We wanted to keep our defense off the field. We knew we needed to run the ball, and we needed to stay on schedule. We needed to stay out of 2nd and 12, 2nd and 11. We needed to be 2nd and 6. And I thought we did that. We told the team at halftime that, hey, clearly when we're playing our best football, we can compete with these guys. And that we needed to maintain that. My biggest concern was that somebody was going to try to go outside themselves and make a big play and expose us. And I think that happened, quite frankly. I mean, the first long run coming out of the half, we misfit the run. We don't get over where we're supposed to be defensively, alignment-wise, and it gashes us. And then the second run, they break the huddle quickly. We're too lackadaisical in getting aligned, and we don't have a player in the alley, and we can't make those mistakes. And the other thing shows, when we break the line of scrimmage, they run us down. Yeah. When they break the line of scrimmage, it's gone. Yeah. And we don't have the margin of error to misfit something and just say, all right, we're going to run it down from behind. Because against those guys, it's hard for us to run them down.
Yeah, team speed, you really got to see it against Florida State. Much more coming up.
Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, brought to you by Champion Chevrolet, a backup Wolfpack quarterback shows the heart of a Lion, and a senior wide receiver continues a phenomenal streak. That and more when Wolfpack All Access returns.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access, brought to you by Champion Chevrolet. Coach Polian with us once again here in the weight room. I want to talk about just the guts that your backup quarterback showed on Saturday against Florida State. He's 6 of 9, 37 yards in the touchdown, but he was out there fighting his tail off, even with that knee injury. You could tell he was hurt.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I thought he competed his tail off. He managed the offense, which is all that we wanted him to do. He really should have had 2 touchdown passes. We had one dropped on him. I thought he did a great job of getting us in the right play. I was very proud of him, and he's just one of those guys. It goes back to, it's a great lesson in recruiting. Smart, competitive, high-character guys find a way. Devin Combs is not the most physically gifted guy. You don't look at him throw and say, boy, that guy's got an incredible arm. You don't look at him run and say, boy, what an athlete. But he finds a way to get it done, and it's a great lesson for us. We need more of those guys.
Talk about another one of your seniors, Brandon Wimberly, had a touchdown grab. He's now got 43 games in a row that he's had a catch. He has not had a collegiate game without a catch. That's the nation's longest streak with a reception. How bad does a team need a senior like that, a big guy like that who can contribute but lead?
There's no doubt, and he's done a really good job. I mean, one of his best attributes is that he knows who he is. He's not going to run by people. That's not who he is. He'll go up and over them, and he'll use that big body of his to shield them off. And I thought he really competed well in the run game yesterday as well, not only making the big touchdown catch, but he's a big physical guy, and he gets after those DBs in the run game, which was, it was one of our points of emphasis yesterday.
Talk about some bad luck that you've run into. Some folks may not even know about this. You had two of your athletes in a car accident on Thursday. Lorenzo Devers and Travis Wilson got broadsided here on campus.
Yeah, it's been a very strange training camp. It's been like nothing I've ever been around. We've had 3 cases of pneumonia in August in Nevada. I had never heard of that before. We've had a case of tonsillitis already, where we've lost a guy for 3 weeks because he had to have his tonsils removed. And then on Thursday morning, we're coming in for morning meetings, and I get a call from Lorenzo, and thank God both kids are okay, but Travis Wilson had to be taken out of the game because of a knee that got banged up in the car accident, swelled up during the game, and Lorenzo got so banged up with a shoulder that we couldn't play him if we wanted to. So it's kind of been that, everybody deals with issues, but if I'm going to lose them, I'd rather lose them on the practice field than to car accidents and viruses.
Yeah, exactly. Let's run through the Mountain West Conference, what happened this weekend so far. If we take a look, UNLV gets its first win of the season, 31-21 over Central Michigan. Rebs 1-2 on the year. Pitt laid the wood to New Mexico, 49-27. Lobos are 1-2. Colorado State gets its first win of 2013, 34-17 over Cal Poly. Rams blocked a pair of field goals in that win. Wyoming 35-7 over Northern Colorado. They're 2-1. Utah State hung 70 on Weber State. Chucky Keaton 5 touchdowns in the first half. Boise State pulled away late from Air Force in that one, 42-20. Joe Southwick 27 of 29 in that one. And the Fresno State game postponed against Colorado because some folks dealing with some flooding there in that area. I think that was the right call on that one. Make sure that folks are safe. Standings in the Mountain West Conference after week 3, starting the West Division. Fresno State 2-0. San Jose State 1-1. Nevada UNLV both at 1-2. Hawaii San Diego State both looking for their first wins of the year. Mountain Division, Boise State at 2-1. 1-0 conference play. Utah State in the same spot. Wyo is at 2-1. They haven't played a conference game. Colorado State, New Mexico, and Air Force all at 1-2 overall, but the Service Academy 0-2 in conference play. So any surprises you've seen so far in this conference?
Yeah, the only surprise this weekend is it seems like everybody else was playing somebody that looked like them except for us. Yeah. So, no, I think I watched the Boise State Air Force game Friday quite intently, and I was very impressed with Air Force. First 2 drives went down the field. Clearly, the trick with them is that you have to get out in front because they're not comfortable playing from behind. And Boise, I was really taken aback by Boise. That's the first time I've seen them this year, and you look at them offensively, and it looks awfully familiar. They're back in the pistol, and they're doing a lot of the same stuff that we're doing here. So that might bode well for us. Our defense saw it all spring and all August, and that should help us, And it was interesting. I was looking at Florida State's schedule when I was down before the game. If Fresno and Boise end up ranked at the end of the year, we will have played 4 top 20 teams. If you look at Florida State's, they're probably going to only have 3 on their schedule: Miami, Clemson, and Florida. So, it is what it is. But when we're playing more top 20 teams than Florida State, it's a tough road to hoe. That's for sure.
Hey, Wolfpack fans, there's still plenty of time to jump on board and get signed up for season tickets at Mackey Stadium. Nevada has a fantastic home schedule once again this year with showdowns against Hawaii, Air Force, BYU, and of course the battle for the Fremont Cannon against UNLV. For ticket information, just call 348-PACK or go online at NevadaWolfpack.com. Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, brought to you by Champion Chevrolet. It was a big off-season when it came to facilities improvement at Mackey Stadium. We'll take you inside Cashel Fieldhouse next.
Back to Wolfpack All Access here on campus in the weight room. It is kind of the trend across the country right now with a lot of college football programs, improvements in facilities. In Nevada has been no different. Privately funded, you've been able to do a lot of things this offseason because of some generous donors. Let's start off with your locker room.
Well, the locker room, when I got here and arrived, I was shocked to find the state of the locker room. And it had been, I think, over a decade since any work had been done to it. And, that's something that directly affects the everyday lives of our student athletes. And the state that it was in, not only was it not good enough for our student athletes, it was an eyesore in recruiting. And for fans to think that facilities don't matter in recruiting is naive. They matter a great deal. Now look, we didn't put up a $54 million building like Oregon did, or Boise has had incredible facility expansion over the last 5-6 years. You know, we took the footprint of what we had here at Cashel, and we've simply tried to make it better. And I know our players greatly appreciated the work that we did in the locker room.
You even gave them a lounge. You turned the media interview room into a player lounge. Something as simple as that really makes a difference.
Yeah, and it really led back to the locker room. We felt like the locker room when we got here was so poor that the players really had no place to relax and call their own. And that media room was being used 6 times a year, 8 times a year, and we figured we can do whatever we do in there and move it somewhere else on campus. But it was important that we get that done. And again, it's not glamorous, but what it is an area. And I've seen a lot of other student athletes in there. I've seen some young ladies from our track and field program hanging out in there, and that's fine. I mean, this building is shared by all the student athletes, and as long as they take pride in it and take care of it, then we're thrilled to be able to provide a little something for the student athletes.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a den for all of the Wolfpack that we're seeing here on campus. Also, you've done some work with some fathead work, and it's really added some nice detail to right here in your weight room and your film room.
Well, we needed to do a better job of branding this facility, and the people from Fathead were fantastic, and they really caught I believe the essence of our program and our university, and frankly our city. There's some great shots of Reno here throughout the building, and it makes a difference when you bring a 16, 17, 18-year-old guy in here as a recruit and you're trying to catch his eye. This stuff makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Looking ahead, it's going to be a whiteout next Saturday right here at Mackey Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here's how you can be a part of it. Get your white Wolfpack shirt. You can go to Silver and Blue Outfitters, swing by, pick one up there at Meadowood Mall. Shirts as low as $5.99. Season ticket holders can get them for $2.99. So it's going to be the Pack and the Hawaii Warriors next Saturday night at Mackey Stadium. Under that whiteout, first 15,000 fans will receive a White Spirit shaker provided by Pepsi. For tickets, call 348-PACK or head to NevadaWolfpack.com.
Coming up next on Wolfpack All Access, they may be 0-2 on the season, but their record is deceiving. We'll break down the matchup against the Hawaii Warriors with Coach Brian Polian when Wolfpack All Access, brought to you by Champion Chevrolet, continues.
Back to Wolfpack All Access here in the weight room. Coach Polian, your thoughts on your next opponent? You finally get into conference play, kind of the second season, and you get to refresh against Hawaii. Your thoughts on them?
Yeah, like I said, we're going into this 0-0 now. It really becomes a 9-week, 1-game season for us, and I'm very anxious to get started. Like we mentioned before, the whiteout, I'm very excited to see our guys come out in all white and see our fans in all white. And we have a challenge this week. I mean, I think Hawaii has improved significantly on defense from where they were a year ago. They have 2 interior defensive linemen that are big, sturdy, strong guys. Obviously the quarterback's a transfer from Ohio State. I think he's still getting used to the offense, but we can only expect him to get better. I have the utmost respect for Coach Chow. I've gotten to know him a little bit, and they're going to present a challenge, and this is the second week in a row now that the opponents had a week off before they faced us. So they're going to have 2 weeks to get ready for what we do, which is going to also present a challenge to us. So the one good thing is that offensively, I think the core of it will be pretty similar to what Florida State did. There's going to be some 21 personnel, some 11 personnel. It's not going to be a complete overhaul for our defense. So I'm hopeful that we'll have some carryover this week and continue to improve. And I'm anxious to get back here to Mackey and in front of our home fans and our students and get going with conference play.
Quarterback you're talking about, the transfer from Ohio State, is Taylor Graham. He's the son of Kent Graham, former NFL quarterback. And Hawaii, they haven't had a slouch non-conference schedule either. I mean, you're talking they're 0-2, but they lost at home to USC, who was ranked 24th in the nation at the time. Then they go on the road and play in Corvallis at Oregon State. So they've played 2 Pac-12 opponents. They've challenged themselves, much like you have so far this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I think people are going to be able to look at us and say, well, they got beat by 2 really good teams, and as did Hawaii. So again, I think it's going to be a real challenge for us, and looking forward to it.
Whiteout Mackey Stadium kickoff 5:05 this Saturday night. Coach Polian, thanks for being with us.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you practice this week.